Eurasian mining has been in Russia for quite a long time, and since 2001 has been exploring and developing PGM projects in Russia. The usual disclaimer. So we have three projects that we're working on in Russia. First of all, Tundra, up in the north in the Kola Peninsula, where we've just completed exploration on 2 million ounce deposit as certified by the discovery certificate granted by the government. The second area is an alluvial platinum mine in the Urals called West Kiplyn, and the third is a gold and tailings project which we're reviewing at the present time. That's the board. I won't talk about them. You can see me, that's good enough, and I'll give you a business card if you want to talk to me afterwards. The PGM market has been quite volatile in recent years. The platinum price collapsed in 2008-9, and largely speaking, the main platinum producers in South Africa are having a very tough time at current pricing. The reason is that there's an overhang of platinum metal in the market, which is now pretty much cleared out. But what is more interesting from our point of view has been the very strong recovery in the palladium price, and what looks like a fairly medium-term shortage of palladium metal in the market. The Tundra project is, if you like, the cornerstone project for the future of Eurasia mining. It is basically 1.9 million ounces of palladium and platinum with base metal credits. In the grades there, we show the in situ grades as part of the the reserve estimates as provided. But we've had good results from concentrate and matte refining tests. The current situation is that we have a discovery certificate, and we will shortly be applying for the mining license. It is also worth noticing, and this is probably the most important thing from a junior company point of view, is that we put in place an EPC contract with Sinosteel, which represents 85% of the capital estimate for the project, and includes a financing package of 85% of the total estimate of the capital cost of the project. So at a very reasonable lending rate. This is the basis of the development of the project to produce 140,000 ounces of platinum equivalent per annum. This just shows you a brief overview of the project area. We have two deposits, West Nitis and Loy-Pishnu, which are located not far from the main road that runs from Murmansk down to St. Petersburg. In addition, the city of Monchegorsk, which you can see up here, and also the Norilsk nickel refinery. The infrastructure is excellent, with power running parallel to this main road here, and rail links all the way up to Murmansk, where we have the international airport. So from a Russian perspective, the logistics is very good. Our office is located very close to the geological expedition in downtown Monchegorsk. This summarizes again the main resource categories for the deposit. One of the really interesting things from a strategic point of view is that the Tundra project has got quite good grades compared to other deposits in the region, which are, if you like, the future of PGM base metal production. The Kevitsa deposit, which has been in production for 2 years, has a much larger tonnage than we do, but at the same time we have exploration potential. We are a small company. We only had enough resources to drill off the 2 million ounces, but there is still good exploration potential in the license area. I would also point out that the grades are sustainable for the same types of deposit. This is our current timeline for the project, where we expect to launch our mining license application now, and the process of receiving a mining license in Russia is reasonably consistent, between 8 and 14 months, which you work through, and then we can go ahead with the development, having got most of the financing in place. We will, of course, need to find an additional, it's an estimate of $23 million for our equity part of the contribution, the rest being represented by the 85% loan provided by Sinosteel. In that regard, we're looking at having a mine operator, a turnkey owner's representative, who would also work with us in This is the local company, Terskaya, which is owned by Eurasia, 80%. We have a local Russian partner as well at 20%. And in addition, we're looking at options such as off-take agreements to cover off this future requirement that we will have to provide. Moving to the West Kiplyn Alluvial project, basically it's a 12 to 14-year alluvial platinum project with building to full production in the next year or 2 years, probably 2 years, depending on depending on the permitting with the government. And it's modular mining operation whereby we have at the moment one washing plant site, but then you build to 3 to get to full production, which is around 12,000 ounces per annum. This is a very simple mining operation because you're basically making a concentrate, which is 80% platinum, and it goes straight to the refinery. At the current time, we're using Ekaterinburg, but we also have a possible agreement with a second refinery in Russia. And the license is good until 2000. Oops. I don't know what happened there. The production license is good until 2040. This is just a brief overview of the first mine site, Malaya Sosnovka, and this is the mining blocks, the wash plant site, and the tailings dam for the production. This just shows you the schedule for the different resource areas and reserve areas within the license. We have roughly 2.5 tons, which are proven and probable reserves, and then we have an additional similar amount, which is still in resource, and that will be drilled off over the next 2 to 3 years to make up a total of around 5 tons altogether. Finally, the Semenovsky project, which is golden tailings down in Bashkiria in the southern end of the Urals, where we have been doing a lot of test work to look at the most efficient way of recovering gold, which is at a grade of 1.1 roughly grams per ton of gold, which is actually very high for a tailings. And the reason that it's very high is that some of the material in which the gold is located is refractory, and we won't be able to recover the full amount if we keep our metallurgy simple, which is our intention. But the IRR from this project is very good. And similarly with West Kiplyn, Semenovsky and West Kiplyn are both cash-generating, modest-sized projects, which for a small company means that we expect in 2 to 3 years' time to be cash positive with relatively low capital investment. That just summarizes the main characteristics of why tailings are attractive if you've not come across it. Tailings are waste from previous mining operations, and 3 different gold deposits provided the tailings from which we intend to recover the gold. And at the current time, we're working on options for financing this development. That's an overview of the site, where you have the original plant site was here, with the town, the village adjacent, which supplied the workforce for this operation. It's our intention to build a new site to the west of the tailings resource, and to use this existing secondary site for tailings from this new operation. This shows a very, very simplified processing route, and that's the purpose of this diagram, is to show that we want to keep it as simple as possible, using basically cyanide leach, filter press, and ultimately recovery in resin columns. The resin we have identified is relatively cheap, so that the loaded resin with the gold on it will be delivered to a refinery down the road, 270 kilometers away, and will be destroyed as part of the recovery of the gold due to the low cost of the resin. So in summary, we're mining at West Kiplyn. We hope to build to a 2-plant operation next year. This was done on a contract mine initially, whereby a contractor was brought in with a 70-30 split of revenue, so that they covered the capital investment for this first wash plant and also the operating costs, and we were compensated by 30% of the revenue. They deliver the concentrate to us. In fact, we have our people on site recovering the platinum, the final platinum concentrate. We deliver to the refinery, collect the check, and give them 70%. We are now in discussions on how to continue developing the further sites. We may actually run them ourselves in future if we can get the right financing for our work. And in that regard, we're looking, we're quite advanced on discussions on blockchain, which is, again, a very novel way of financing mining. It's, at this stage, not very many people have attempted it, but we are advanced on looking at a way of basically generating tokens or coins in an ICO based on the future platinum production from the mine. And this may also be a valid model for working on the Semenovsky tailings project. Tundra remains what we call the company maker, with 2 million ounces approved, and now licensing will begin for the mining license and the development of the project. And finally, Semenovsky, the gold tailings, where we hope to find a financing conclusion in the near future. The last line just shows you that we have a free float of around 50% of the company. Thank you.